Monaco, the only sovereign state in Europe, I believe, with more helicopter landing pads than bike racks. It'll almost certainly be the richest crowd that's ever turned out for a Tour de France start, give or take the odd domestic servant who's been given the day off, and they'll be rattling their jewellery at by far the richest and most famous cyclist in the world. Might as well throw in most polarising too, because the world these days seems to cleave into pro and anti-Lance Armstrong factions. Those who believe he's the greatest comeback story in the history of sport, and those who believe his whole career is a story of a different, less believable kind. What's incontrovertible is that he's here in Monaco on Independence Day, and his return to the sport is almost a bigger story than the race itself.
4 years since the last of his record 7 victories, Lance Armstrong is back as the most contentious of Tour contenders, dividing public opinion and quite possibly his own team, which is led, or so we're told, by the race favourite Alberto Contador. But first he's got to get there, and it won't be easy for anybody. 3,500 kilometres in 21 stages, culminating in the brutal climb of Mont Ventoux on the eve of the final ceremonial day in Paris. The only certainty was that both Armstrong and Contador were on the start sheet for the opening time trial. A tough 15.5 kilometres, climbing steeply out of Monaco into the French hinterland and swooping back down for a fast finish along the Grand Prix circuit. With Contador slated to set off last for Astana, Armstrong gambled on going early and intimidating the rest of the field with a fast time.
Well, quite a round of applause as he went down that ramp and now settles in. We'll know pretty quickly, or he'll know pretty quickly, how well he's going. The USA flag is on the left. Lance Armstrong is back in the Tour de France. Anything significant? He wears number 22. He's won 22 stages in the past.
Armstrong now getting into the crowd, and if there's any doubt, Phil, whether or not these people support him, I think you can understand here, because they are cheering on this man who has won the Tour de France so far on 7 separate occasions.
They have waited to see this moment. We've met so many people here. Here's the time check anyway. Let's see if they stop the clock. It's way up, way up. It's going to be 11:47, 11:39, they say, is the time. We wait for confirmation. It's confirmed, I think. So Lance Armstrong, who said he was going to make a steady start, seems to have dropped in with the best time, which is confirmed at 11 minutes and 39.
It was 20 seconds up at half distance. He's going to be more than that at final distance.
Little bit of a speed wobble, that's how much. Look at his face. Lance Armstrong, 7 times a winner of the Tour de France. 4 years ago was the last time. He's been out of the sport. He's heading for the best time as he now lines up. He can see the finishing line. He's just gone over 20 minutes. He's slowed a little bit here on Montfort, but he's kicking for the line. He's looking for 20:42, and he's going to beat that. He hits the line, 20:12. He gets the best time, but he did clearly slow on that second half.
The best time for Armstrong then, but not for long. He was quickly overtaken by several riders, including a couple of teammates, Levi Leipheimer and Andreas Klöden. Klöden's was still the best time, with all the favourites out on the course. Alberto Contador, Bradley Wiggins and Fabian Cancellara, though, were all going well.
Wiggins has got a good time here, Phil.
Wiggins is heading in. Is he going to reshape the leaderboard? He should get out of the saddle and sprint. Well, it's not easy to do, but look at the time of Klöden, and Wiggins is going to be very, very close to best time. Take a look at Wiggins' face here, the Olympic champion. He's going to be a good road racing rider now. He hits the line, best time, 19:51 by 3 seconds when they round it up. Now let's get back to Cancellara. This is unbelievable. And look at that. Menchov is struggling now. He won't believe this. Remember, they started 1 minute and 30 seconds apart. And Cancellara pushes on for the finish. He's looking to beat the time of Bradley Wiggins of 19:51. This is when he sees the clock. This is when he goes for the gears, knocks it up a cog, and then puts his head down and drives. He is sprinting for the line. The former world champion, the Olympic champion, and the best time. And what a time that is, 19:32.
And a massive slaughtering of everybody else's time, almost 20 seconds faster than everybody else.
Now what has Alberto Contador done? He's 10 seconds away from the time, 8:07. It's going away from him. He won't win. Cancellara has flown off the mountain like an eagle, and now Alberto Contador is racing for second place here. And he's going to have to go well, otherwise he'll be behind Bradley Wiggins as well. But this is still, nonetheless, a great ride by Alberto Contador, who won the Tour in 2007. There's the time he's shooting at of Wiggins, and he's just got inside Bradley Wiggins. Contador is second. Is he now the leader of Astana? He certainly laid claim to that.
He's starting to corner the market in foreign starts, Fabian Cancellara, having won already, of course, around the streets of London in 2007. Cancellara led the race by 18 seconds from Alberto Contador, with Bradley Wiggins another second down in third. Cadel Evans, second overall last year, was fifth at 23 seconds, ahead of Levi Leipheimer. Lance Armstrong declared himself happy with 10th, 40 seconds down on the winner, and 22 behind Alberto Contador. David Miller was 14th at 48 seconds. While among the climbers tipped for overall victory, Andy Schleck was 18th, having lost a minute, 3 places and 6 seconds ahead of Carlos Sastre. Yesterday's stage was expressly designed to create some proper time gaps between the contenders for overall victory, and in that respect it was an outstanding success, which is more than can be said for some of the contenders for overall victory. Here's how the race favourites are lining up after just 15.5 kilometres of 3,500. Alberto Contador, fresh from his win in the Spanish National Time Trial Championships, won the unofficial one between the big names, 4 seconds ahead of the smallest of his fellow big names on the Astana team, Andreas Klöden. Cadel Evans is 5 seconds back from Contador and should be reasonably happy with that, but then the gaps start to lengthen. Levi Leipheimer, third in the Astana pecking order, lost 12 seconds to his teammate and Tour favourite. Lance Armstrong, the wild card and leader in waiting, lost 22, although he declared himself happy with that. Andy Schleck is already nearly 3/4 of a minute down on a man he'll be going head-to-head with in the Alps and the Pyrenees, as is the defending champion Carlos Sastre, who might have expected to be closer than 48 seconds. Those two can rely on their attacking style in the mountains to claw back time. Unlike the biggest loser yesterday, Denis Menchov, he's already a minute and 13 in arrears.